Play one more song. The song is their hit, Closer. Please welcome back to the stage, Winnipeg, Tegan and Sara. Performing the song Closer from their record Heartthrob, Tegan and Sara. Tegan Quinn, Sara Quinn, that was Adam Crisco, John Spence, Jasper Lee, Ted Gowan. It's going to be really fun to see that on the JUNOs. I mentioned this is a really big year for you too, internationally. Sara, is there a sense, you kind of alluded to this earlier in the show, is there a sense of taking stock? You come back to Canada, is it a moment where you can sort of look back at what's happened over the last year and a half and take some stock, or is this just another stop on the endless tour to world domination?
I dare you to say it's just another stop.
Oh my God, that's bleak when you put it that way. No, it's even more than taking stock of the year and a half. I think this forces us to talk a lot about our whole career. You know, we started in 1998. This is my first JUNOs, and I'm now recognize the album, but also I think, in a larger way, or just our career in general, makes me feel, humble. I mean, we were talking. Or do we call it our heritage our heritage tour? Like, we're a heritage Canadian act. We've been doing it for so long. But in a weird way.
And then I'm like, no, we're only 23. Shut up.
No, but this is really special, and we're really excited to be here. I'm glad we waited 900 years to come and do the JUNOs. It feels really special.
When you say it, you feel closer to Tegan. Like, I know that you've lived apart. It's not like you spend every waking moment together in your lives,
No.
but it does seem like an interesting thing to say about a twin sister that you've been in business with for the last 15 years, as well as creative collaboration. To say you feel close.
The record for us was probably the most collaborative thing that we've ever accomplished. I think a lot of our records, it was about celebrating Tegan as a songwriter, and then, for me, it was about allowing me to do whatever it was that I wanted to do and finding a common. I think right before we went in to make Heartthrob, we actually sat down with Rob Cavallo, who's like a very famous producer, and also was the chairman of Warner at the time, and we sort of felt after our last record, Saint to It, that we sort of maybe plateaued a little bit, and I don't mean in terms of sales, I just mean artistically. Like, we hadn't taken a ton of risks on that record, and we had a really, actually, kind of almost therapeutic session with Rob, where he asked us a lot of questions about who we were as people. He didn't know anything about us. He had us actually play a song for him. Like, it was like old school. It was like
It's really
1970s. Yeah, it was like, I pulled out a guitar and Sarah played the piano, and we played a song called Call It Off, because he was like, what do you do together? Exactly. And it could have gone so many ways.
It was weird, yeah.
We weren't sure entirely what he was asking.
He's like, I built a womb. I built a womb. Get inside of it. Show me what it was like to be in there. But anyway,
It's sweet that she went there and I went somewhere so much
I know, I
darker.
was deflecting. Anyway, so he asked us a series of questions. Some very just direct questions about like what it is we wanted and what we were doing. But then it got kind of hippy dippy, and there was a lot of like close your eyes and imagine the size of venues you want to play, and what do the people there look like, and what are they doing, and do they look happy, and what are you doing, and what do you want to do, and what kind of music do we want to make, and this was something we'd never done, so it did bring us closer. It made us realize we were a team. We didn't need to always be in opposition, and we weren't two songwriters.
But you felt like a team before.
We were a team in business, but in terms of the artistic stuff, Sarah's right. It was like we made room for Sarah's songs and we made room for my songs, and there was always an even split of who wrote what on the
It was
record.
very egalitarian. It wasn't always necessarily about making sure it was 50-50, but there was like you better write good songs, because if you don't write good ones, I'll end up doing a lot of the record. Like, it was sort of competitive.
I never said that to her
Basically,
at all. That
with her
never
eyes.
happened. It's a
With
made up
with her soul, she did.
That's a made up conversation, basically. That's
It was
what she said.
Hall & Oates, but no one wanted to be John Oates.
Yeah, it was more like I don't care about Rolling Stone. We better get a good review on Pitchfork, or I'm leaving you to go join Matthew Deere in a weird electronic act. And I
That's
was like,
probably true.
"Please
I
don't
did say
leave
that.
me, Sarah."
You said a lot, because the undertone of, if we were doing more commercial stuff. I mean, the last time you were on Q, early last year around the release of Heartthrob, we talked about this record and how it was a conscious effort to become to go and mainstream, accessible. And Tegan, you had such a clear and reasoned approach to why you were doing this, and an honest one. It was refreshing, almost in its honesty, and yet, I mean, not every acclaimed indie act would dare take that route. In retrospect, and you can kind of be honest about this now because it's worked, but how much of a gamble was it? I mean, how much did you guys actually, kind of go, well, what are we doing here? Is this real?
Well, the thing is about social media and the internet and the way that things work now, since, we joke all the time, like in 2000, we put out a video, and I remember one time being in an HMV, and it came on, and, someone walked by, someone's like, you're famous. And, like, nobody knew who we were. But there's this perception that if you're on television or you're on the radio that you're famous. And so, as much as this might sound crazy to people, like, when we were starting to sit down and write Heartthrob and talk about being a more popular band, we didn't consider ourselves a popular enough band that it would matter what kind of record we made. We could put out a harmonica record. It wouldn't matter because we had a solid fan base.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. We were like, we don't feel limited to one genre. We're not a band. We're songwriters who work together, collaborate to make records. We aren't restricted by pop or indie or folk. We've been all of those things. We also collaborated with Tiesto and David Guetta and Morgan Page. We are musicians, we're storytellers, we're entertainers, we're writers, we're Canadian. We just do what we want to do, and we're...
And then the government gives us money, so it works for us.
The government does give us
Don't
money.
make fun of that. That's
It's awesome.
Let's hold on to that.
It's one of the, it's a gift. It really, it really is.
But,
So we didn't feel scared at all. We felt like, whatever, who cares? We thought a few kids will go on the blogs. Truly, we actually, it's documented online in a TV show we did called Carpool Confessional. Yes, thank you. Very popular online show. But Sarah says it. Look, our job is it's not to appease our audience. It's to entertain them. It's to stimulate them. It's to make them happy or to console them when they're sad. But our job is not to just give them the same product.
Did you take it personally when someone would write on Facebook, "You guys are my favorite act, and I've stood by you, on stage with Taylor Swift"?
No.
Well, okay, I did. Yeah, but I just.
I've never been to Facebook. I don't care.
I was gonna say, the thing that's so cool is that Tegan really has this fearless shoulders back. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks. I don't even know if she's ever been to Pitchfork.com. Like, I really believe that Tegan is sort of steely in her belief of what this band is, and I'm sort of I'm that doubting, Fight Club character that's always like on her shoulder, being like, "Are you sure, Tegan? Are you sure?"
Is that what the fight? No,
I don't think that happens in Fight Club, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, but so
Which character
I don't
on the
know.
shoulder?
I don't know. I just know there's two people, but they're one. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler alert. It's been out for 20 years. Get a grip. Anyways, Bruce Willis is dead. Blah blah blah. Anyways, so different movie. Anyways,
No one remembers the point.
I know. No, I was gonna say that it does hurt my feelings when people are mad at us for playing with Taylor Swift. It does make me sad when people don't want us to do tours with Katy Perry or fun. And I think the reason why it makes me sad is because I'm human and I hate criticism. And I think for us, everything that we do, we talk about it so much. We look from every side. We consider every step, and nothing that we do is anyone else's choice but our own. We are our own bosses, and the thing that bothers me is not necessarily that people are like, I hate that they played with Taylor Swift. It's that they think that someone made us do it. Besides us. Yeah, Tegan usually. But it's just, I hate that that there isn't this idea that we have agency over our lives, that there's this puppet master above us. That has never been us. It's not been us since we started in the 90s, and it's never going to be our band. And of that, I'm very proud. And so I'm willing to face criticism. What I don't like is when people don't actually accurately, assign blame to Tegan.
I can take it.
Congratulations, eh?
Thanks, Jian.
Way to go. It's so much fun. We talked about this backstage, but it's so much fun to see how you have turned this into a kind of a pop phenomenon without losing your integrity, losing who you are, and continuing to be a beacon that we all look to and feel so great about. It's really beautiful to see. Way to go.
It's fun for us. Thank you so much.
Tegan and Sara, everybody. The latest album is called Heartthrob. They're up for 4 JUNOs this weekend. Single of the Year, Group of the Year, Songwriter of the Year, Pop Album of the Year. They'll also be performing at the JUNO broadcast with a massive choir. Tegan and Sara have been with us here live at the Burton Cummings Theatre in Winnipeg. It's Friday. It's the end of the show. It's the end of the week. That can only mean one thing. It's time to thank all the incredible people who put this show together each week. Carolyn Hugh, Rachel Littlebro Mallow, Debbie Pacheco, Mitch Pollock, Lisa Rundle, Matt Tunnicliffe, technical support from Nina Shams, Ron Skinner, and Kyle Katasowicz. Our QTV crew of Steve Johnson and Corey Schaefer with TJ Heidemann, Tyler Williams, and Trevor Bryan. Special thanks to our Winnipeg colleagues, Suzanne Dufresne, Lindsay McKenzie, Iris Uday, Andrea Warner, Jason Boychuk. The director of Q is Shawnee Foley. Our senior producer is Lisa Godfrey. Happy birthday, Lise. Our executive producer, Harf Nurani. Back in Studio Q on Monday. Thank you so much, Winnipeg, for having us here. We'll see you across Juno weekend. Q at CBC.ca, Twitter, Jian Ghomeshi, to be continued.